Contestant number 1.
Good afternoon, everyone, once again. My name is Marcela Davila Diaz Gutierrez. I am finalist number 1 representing the country of Mexico and the beautiful state of New Mexico. Morgan, I am ready for your question.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
Thank you for your question, Morgan. I think that's an excellent question. And as we have walked during this week through conference and show, I think that is something that comes to mind often. We're moving at a fast pace in this industry, and the future is inevitable. We have to embrace technology while also preserving the values of the traditional method of marketing. As an auctioneer, we have been working in the family business, which is my husband's family business. We have been working with Native American art auctions, and 99% of our sales are online. This doesn't mean that we don't sit there and call the auction. I do believe that having a live auctioneer encourages people, creates the energy, and prompts people to continue to bid, making sure that we get the most value for the items. So yes, is the future uncertain? Of course. Are we going to have to deal with new technologies out there? Absolutely. But I think that as long as we continue to just plant the seed of the ethics and the value and the integrity of the live auction method of marketing, while still embracing those technologies and maybe leaning on our peers like I do. For instance, John Schultz gave a great class yesterday about artificial intelligence. I don't need to know it all. We don't need to know it all. But if we rely on the peers from the NAA that have those sensors that are looking into the future, I'm sure we can enhance what we're already doing. In my case, it's virtual auctions. I mean, I sell cars in Mexico from my home in nowhere, New Mexico. While still creating encouragement and enthusiasm in our bidders. So I think that as long as we hold on to that, we will be okay. Yes.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Thank you for the question, Morgan. Well, you know, last year I was privileged enough to stand on this stage on the finals, and they asked me my why was I here, and the answer I gave at that point was I want to serve. Well, I realized you don't have to be a champion to be able to serve. There's plenty of opportunity out there that is provided by this amazing organization that will allow you to serve. One of the things that has been wonderful this year has been in contact with the as a task force for the Women's Forum, which, by the way, women out there, I encourage you to go. It's going to be in Kansas City next November. I'm so excited about this. That's one of the ways that I feel like I have helped giving back to this industry by encouraging other women to do what we love, knowing that we are a minority in the business. And also, I believe that by sharing my passion for this, I absolutely love auctions. I am a first-generation auctioneer. I absolutely love this family. You guys have accepted me, embraced me with all my quirks, even the Spanish part, all that stuff, and that's something that I appreciate. I feel like this organization represents not only members nationally, but also internationally, and now that I am here living in the US, and also doing business in Mexico, and also have a bunch of friends within the organization that are part of the international community, I can represent not only those within the US, but also outside of the US, while continuing to serve in other committees like the Community Committee that has been very valuable part of our 4 cornerstones here in the NAA.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go where there's no path and leave a trail." Oftentimes, we find ourselves walking in the trails of other auctioneers here. Lots of people around here have made their own trails. And you know what? The thing is with the auction industry, we don't walk those trails alone. We walk those trails together. as a team, because auctions are the ultimate team sport. Like, there's a lot that we don't see. The fact that we're changing the name to the National Auction Association makes it more inclusive for those members that are working really hard, but they don't call the bids. So it's not about the auctioneer. It's not about the person who's shining in the microphone and calling the bids. We're just landing the plane for a moment. But there's a lot of people out there that are part of the team of the auction and that make the live auction method of marketing possible. By changing the name, we are acknowledging them as well. And not only that, I know that the advocacy committee has given them the opportunity to now create a program that is gonna educate and help those team members from the auction industry to, help their own teams and make this move forward. So yes, I think that it is a change that definitely impacts this industry positively, and it impacts this association positively, and I love it. Thank you so much for your questions. Once again, I am finalist number 1. My name is Marcela Davila Diaz Gutierrez, representing the country of Mexico and the state of New Mexico. Thank you to the judges for allowing me the opportunity of being back on the stage, and thank you all for listening.
Well, welcome back to the 2023 IAC Live. It is a joy to be back with you all again. My name is John Nichols. I have the great pleasure of being your 2006 IAC champion. I am joined today by my lovely co-host, Miss Eve Rojas. And Eve, what an opportunity we have today. Marcela set the bar pretty high.
Yes, she did. And she's been competing now for, I believe, 4 years. And she is exceptional and articulate and passionate. And she did just a terrific job on stage, starting out the finals. There's 20 in the finals, 5 women and 15 men. They each are required to answer 3 different questions. She answered each of those as a dedicated auction professional.
Marcela is a confident young woman and bilingual on top of that. Again, she set the bar high. We're going back to the stage.
Finalist number 2.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan Knoll from Lexington, Kentucky, finalist number 2. Morgan, I think you have some questions for me.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
So what we do in our business, we do live auctions and we do online auctions. But ever since CAI Next, whenever I went back a couple months ago, they introduced ChatGPT to us. So that is something that we're using on our descriptions for our online auctions. It's something that we're helping for our marketing for our live in-person auctions. So we are still, doing live auctions. We're doing online auctions, but we're certainly utilizing all of the AI and other things like that in order to benefit our clients and get them the most money and turn their assets into cash.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
So in my career, I joined the Kentucky Auctioneer Association in 2009, and I've participated in fun auctions. I've participated in charity events. I also helped the Kentucky State Police with the Kentucky Auctioneer Association do all of their gun auctions and their vehicle auctions. So in those times, I didn't do it for the pay. I did it to help out the association and help out the organization. And when I became a member of the NAA, I've attended conference and show every single time that I had the opportunity. I made sure the other day I was here at the business meeting, made sure I raised my card to give back, because I know that every single dollar counts, and every single person that gives is just going to help the industry more in the future. So I've helped a few ways in the past, and I continue to help in the future as we go ahead from today.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think that it will make us more inclusive because, saying National Auction Association is going to be all types of auctioneers. It's not going to be just live auctioneers. It's not just going to be online auctioneers, benefit auctioneers. It's everybody. So I think by saying we are the National Auction Association, people across the entire world are going to know that the NAA stands for everybody. It doesn't just stand for a particular type of auctioneer. So I certainly think that it's going to help us in the future. It's going to help us today. And like the keynote speaker said the other day, he said, you know, we can't look 30 years out because it's hard to visualize, but we can look 10 years out. And looking 10 years out, I certainly think that National Auction Association is going to be something that we grow on, and it's going to be something that people quit mispronouncing and say what the old thing was. So I think, is there any other questions you have for me? Well, thank you once again. My name is Jonathan Knoll from Lexington, Kentucky, finalist number 2.
Our friend from the Bluegrass State seemed really, really comfortable up there.
Jonathan certainly did. And I want to remind all of those that are watching this interview portion, they've all been sequestered.
Yep.
So they are being asked the same question.
They're sequestered. They get all the same question. No one gets to hear them,
Yes.
obviously. Just not fair. But he seemed genuine. I thought he finished up a little shaky, but I think he seemed extremely comfortable, so that might help him out in the end.
And we're ready for our next one.
Go to camera 1 in 3, 2, 1.
Finalist number 3.
Well, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen, judges. Thank you for your consideration and for having me back in the finals of the 2023 International Auctioneers Championship. My name is Eli Troyer. I am from Beach City, Ohio, blessed and humbled to be your contestant finalist number 3 this afternoon. Morgan, I believe you have some questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
How do we balance the technology that we're facing today? We have been blessed to be surrounded with excellent education all week long surrounding the change that is taking place with technology, the changes that are taking place within our marketplace, the changes that are taking place in our industry. And we have been blessed as NAA professionals to have the education that we need to keep us relevant as we serve our clients and as we serve our auction community. And so with that said, how do we balance the technology is to just do just that. Keep coming back to NAA convention, conference, and show. Take advantage of the tools that they're providing for us as auctioneers and auction professionals. I believe that is what helps me be balanced and what equips us and empowers us to best serve our clients with their auction needs. Thank you for the question.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Well, thank you for the question. Again, we have been blessed to be surrounded by some of the best auction professionals in the business here at NAA. I have had the privilege, probably most recently, to be in the room of the next generation of auctioneers, and to be in the room with them and to give back by helping lead out with the workshop in Next Gen. And so I think something that I bring is a passion for the auction industry, a desire to give back. I am a testimony or a byproduct of what NAA and so many people in this room have poured into my life. So many people have invested into me to help me go from where I was at to where I'm at as an individual, personally, as well as an auctioneer. And so I have a desire to give back, to invest what has been given to me. Freely we have received, freely we give back. And so to have the opportunity to sow back into the next generation or to give back into the auction industry as an ambassador or as a representative of the NAA or the auction industry in general would be something that I believe would be a component or a desire that I have. Thank you.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I loved seeing the change that we have experienced or that we have seen all week long here at NAA Conference and Show. I believe change represents is a sign that we are growing. It is the sign that we are growing as an association. It's a sign of the growth that we're experiencing in the auction industry. The auction industry is growing at an all-time high right now. And so I believe change is something that we must be open to. We must be open-minded to continue growing as an organization. We need to continue to be open-minded to continue growing as an industry. And so I believe being open to change and being open to being changed, being flexible. Flexibility tends to promote or produce agility. And so I love what I see happening in NAA all week long here, the change that is taking place. And to answer that question, I think it's very inclusive. I think it's important that we make the changes that we are making to be inclusive to all members of the auction profession. There's so many auctioneers or auction staff that may not actually be auctioneers that play such a key role in the success of our company and in the success and the growth of the auction industry in general. So I think it's a very inclusive move, and I think, again, it just represents the growth that we're experiencing as an association and the growth that we're experiencing as an industry. So I think it's a really good change along with all of the other changes that I've seen being implemented in our association and in our industry. Thank you for the question. Once again, my name is Eli Troyer. I am from Beach City, Ohio, completely humbled and blessed to be back on the final stage of the IAC in 2023. So judges, thank you again for being in the trenches. NAA, thank you for celebrating the live auction component of who we are and what we do as auction professionals. God bless each and every one of you, and we look forward to seeing you tonight.
Our third finalist, Eli from Ohio, when he spoke about that third question, his passion and delivery and that smile, what did you think about his answer on inclusivity?
You know, Eve, as young as he's a young man, but he is a veteran as far as this contest is concerned, and they breed good auctioneers in Ohio. He'll crush it in the bid calling. I think you're spot on. Back to the stage.
Finalist number 4.
Hello. Once again, I'm Mary Hartley from Ashland, Ohio. I am contestant number 4. I'd like to thank you for inviting me back. And Morgan, I understand you have some questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
Can you repeat that?
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
That's a very good question, as there's so much online bidding now, but it's very important to be able to offer both for our sellers and our buyers. As an auctioneer, we represent our sellers and we have to give them the best options for their product. So if an online auction is what we need to do, then that's what we do, is an online auction. If a live auction is going to be better, we can do a live auction. It's great to be able to incorporate both, and it's also great that in this day and age we can do both. We can do live and online all at the same time.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
I have a big passion, and my poor kids hear it all the time, in giving back. We've all been given gifts, and once we hit wherever we hit, whatever along our journey, that's what's required of us, is to give back. And so in doing so, there's a lot of benefit auctions that I do. There's a lot of different school functions. Yes, yeah, and the benefit auctions especially. As far as representing the IAC, I would continue to do the same and represent this to the best of its ability.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
Of all the changes that have been made this year, this name change is my favorite, and this is why. Long before I even had a dream of becoming an auctioneer, I used to settle my brother's auctions at my dining room table. From there, I became a clerk. I set up auctions, I checked in, I checked out, and then I got the fever for becoming an auctioneer. It takes a tribe, it takes a team to pull off a good auction, and it's great to have that recognized by such an association as this. All right. Once again, I'm Mary Hartley from Ashland, Ohio, contestant number 4.
Mary from Ohio, our contestant here who has made it to the finals for the first time in the interview portion. John, what do you have to share?
You know, Eve, she started out a little shaky on question 1, but she seemed so relaxed after that. And I think as far as her content's concerned, she absolutely crushed number 3.
Number 3, and that's bringing in the familiarity and the family and the passion. Always answer from your heart.
She did it for her first one, though. The way she controlled her nerves, you of all people and me standing
Yes.
up there, we know how difficult that is. And for her to come off that shaky start and to be as relaxed and as confident as she was.
I agree. And
What a
keep in mind, those of you that are watching, all of us are auction professionals and colleagues, and we're presenting in front of our friends and family. So it is not something that is easy. In fact, I really respect everybody pre and now in the finals, the bravery and courage. And let's go back to our competition.
Finalist number 5.
Well, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen LaRiviere from Galax, Virginia, and I am finalist number 5. I'd like to take a minute to thank you, judges, for your faith in me and bringing me back. I don't take this honor lightly. Morgan, I believe you have some questions for me.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
That's a tough question. Growing up, the only thing I ever wanted to be was an auctioneer. My dad was an auctioneer. My grandpa, I grew up running around the sale yard, and so I loved the bid call. I loved auctioneer. I love to do this. Today has been a dream come true. But my company now, we're 99% online. And I actively try to figure out ways to incorporate the live auction. And so, yeah, the question has always been, how do you balance profitability with the live bid call? For what I sell, online seems to work so much better. But I know that there's an avenue for the bid call, and the way I see it is we've done a great job of introducing technology along with the live bid call. But there has to be an event base now, I believe, for the live bid call. And that's what, as in our company, if we're doing live auctions, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to incorporate it into a big live event, give people a reason to come out instead of giving them a reason to just bid on their phone. We want to make it convenient, but we want to give them we want to give them a reason to bring out the family and enjoy the day. And so that's a tricky subject that in 2 minutes it's hard to go over, but where do you find that balance? And for us, it's been event-based live auctions.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Well, as I said in my interview after my preliminary run, I'm kind of ashamed. I didn't get involved in any associations or didn't really get back in a big way to the industry for probably about the first 9 years of my career. Like I said, I've always wanted to be an auctioneer, and as soon as I could go to auction school and get licensed, I did. But I just never got involved. And the NAA and VAA, I'm a member of the Virginia Auctioneers Association, they've given me that ability to give back. And so in 2018 was my first conference and show. I came specifically to compete in the IAC, and there was only one person that I had ever even met before, and I wasn't even sure he would remember my name, and that's Mr. Charles Nichols, because I had done an auction with him one time. And I came and I said, if I'm going to meet people, I got to get involved. And so every opportunity I got, the elections committee, every time I could sign up to volunteer somewhere, I did, and that has paid off dividends. Now I'm on the advocacy committee, an issue that until really a couple months ago, I didn't know that I really cared so much about it, but until they started coming after us in Virginia, it really sparked my interest, and I had the opportunity to serve on the advocacy committee, and I have been rewarded in more ways. It seems like, when you hear the term, the more you give, the more you get, and that has been so true in my life. The more I get involved in the NAA, advocacy, and planning conference and show and all that, it's been so rewarding to me.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
That question's easy. It'll absolutely make it more inclusive. The auction profession, the word auctioneer describes a lot of what we've been doing here today, I believe. The bid call. The auction profession is so much bigger. I have some staff that work for me that are phenomenal. They do more work in the auction business than I ever do, but they wouldn't consider themselves auctioneers at all. The name change truly reflects and brings those people in that are working in the industry, and we can say, come on in, we want to know what you have to say. We don't care if you can get up here and you can win the IAC. We don't care about any of that. We want you and your skills that you bring to the table, and we want to learn from you. So absolutely, I love the name change. It'll bring a lot, I believe it'll bring a lot more people into the community. Thank you very much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm contestant number 5, Stephen LaRiviere from Galax, Virginia.
Stephen is a Virginia boy, so I'm pretty familiar with him. And whereas answer number 1 was a little disjointed, I think he saved himself. I think he came back, he gathered himself together, and it was extremely confident.
Question number 3 right now is standing out. Everybody lights up, and when he said, the name change is inclusive of everybody that works in his office. So the National Auction Association includes the clerks and the photographers, all those entrepreneurs that are auctioned. So I love watching how everybody's faces are lighting up. And let's go on back to our competition.
Finalist number 6.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, judges. My name is Brian Damewood. I'm finalist number 6. I'm from Purcellville, Virginia. I want to thank all of you in the crowd who have been with us the whole day. Your attendance to us as contestants, it really means the world. Those of you here in the ballroom and online. And judges, I want to thank you for bringing me back. What a great group of auctioneers in today's competition. So I feel really privileged to be here. Morgan, you have some questions for me.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
One more time on that, if you would, please.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
Thank you. So I think that right now we're kind of in a golden age of auctioneering because we have so many different bid providers, so companies that are there to provide online bidding for us and other technologies that we can use to augment a live auction. For example, you can serve your seller in so many wonderful ways and expose their assets in a way that generations before couldn't. A lot of what we do with our company, we do a lot of simulcast auctions. So we bring in the new technology to allow people to bid not just from where they're in the crowd, or we actually have some bidders that might be on a business trip in Europe. We've had that happen sometimes, and they're able to participate from all over. So in terms of the integrity of that, it's just treating those bidders the exact same way, those who are online as who are in-house. And the fact that we have so much technology available to us is just going to make it more convenient for sellers to use the auction method because they really know they're going to get maximum exposure for their assets.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Thank you. I definitely would say that in my auction career, I've benefited from a lot of people giving to me. I've received so much advice from people who are here in the crowd, who are competing today. And one thing I would say, a way that I've most been able to give back, I think some of the proudest moment I've had is not winning an auction contest. It's the moments that I've had to be able to teach to my peers and also to younger generations. The times that I've been able to teach at state associations have been some of the most rewarding and has really recharged my batteries in that way. Also, I've had the opportunity to talk to school children at career days and also like a DECA sort of program. And it's amazing how many young people, how many school-age kids are familiar with auctions and have engaged with auctions. I mean, the future is bright for the auction method of marketing because there are so many kids that have already participated in online auctions. What I would bring to the table, I think, Morgan, is I'm just here to serve. I don't have an agenda. This association, the NAA, this contest has a solid foundation, which I have benefited incredibly from. So to be able to be a cog in that wheel in the future, all I want to do is just be another part of making the IAC competition and the NAA more solid.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I would say that it's definitely going to make it more inclusive. And hey, first off, I consider myself an auctioneer. The term auctioneer is something that I hold with great esteem. But if you look around this weekend, if you look around at what we really are as an association, we're not just auctioneers. We are setup people. We are marketers. We are very valuable vendors, as I mentioned in that earlier question. Vendors who give us as auction company owners, auctioneers, tools that help us to better serve our customers, both on the selling and the buying end. It's definitely going to make it more inclusive, and I think that that term, National Auction Association, is much more relevant to what we currently are. So I would say definitely be more inclusive. And also, one other point I want to mention, in terms of what we've done with the education, with the team building, that's going to be able to take so many more companies to the next level where we're able to, staffing's such a big problem. And to be able to train front-end people, setup people, load-out people through the NAA's program that they're rolling out, it's really going to be exciting. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Damewood, finalist number 6 from Purcellville, Virginia. Thank you very much for being with us.
Brian did an amazing job, and keep in mind that not only are they being judged on the answers to the questions, but that stage presence and poise, and boy, did he have that.
You know, Eve, what a lot of people don't know is before Brian was in the auction industry, he was a news reporter for an ABC affiliate. This is his sweet spot. He is always going to be as cool as the other side of the pillow. I mean, this is his absolute most favorite thing to do. He's never met a camera he didn't like or a microphone he didn't like. I just think you hit it on the head. Just effortless.
Yes,
effortless.
It absolutely was. Thank you so much, and just stay right there because we're going to be right back after our next contestant.
Finalist number 7.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Jay Cash, finalist number 7. Judges, thank you for the opportunity to have a conversation, peel back a layer, and bare my soul. Morgan, cannot wait for question number 1.
As an auctioneer, How do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
You know, we heard this week of all the benefits of AI and technology, and one thing that I think is for certain is there's change constantly, and whether you like it or not, we all have to accept that change is going to happen. And with AI, specifically technology that we heard about this week, I believe it offers an opportunity for all of us auctioneers in the room, whether we are live bid callers, live auctioneers, or we put things online, to utilize that technology to free us up from maybe the mundane tasks that are out there. Simple things that we may not think of, it takes long, such as possibly a congratulatory letter, or possibly descriptions, or a how-to list, or things that we wish we could write and type out that is tedious for us as business owners to do, but utilizing that technology frees us up to do what we're really meant to do, which is to go out and help people in our community, to help our sellers, to create an opportunity for people to better their lives by moving on with whatever part of life they're in. But I think utilizing technology, specifically artificial intelligence, is a great thing that all auctioneers need to be open-minded about. I think it's extremely scary, all the things that it can do, but it offers an opportunity for us to have more time, because that's our most valuable commodity.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Morgan, that is a unbelievable question of how I've changed and what I can give back. The NAA has allowed me to change as a person in so many ways: my mind, my body, my heart, my spirit. I'm a second-generation auctioneer, but I would not be the auctioneer that I am right now if it wasn't for people in this room over the past 18 years. I have been given so much. My family's been given so much, and I think a lot of times, a lot of us in the room can take some of the blessings we have in life for granted. Our health, our ability to go out and work. And I like to always be grounded. And when I come back into this room, I'm given an opportunity, possibly as a director for the association, possibly it's as a speaker on the Speakers Bureau that I've had the opportunity to do, just having a social media presence. I am been given an opportunity to help countless other auctioneers that may just be a step or two behind me, that are trying to better themselves and their families and their lives. And it's the greatest opportunity that I have is to share some of my experiences, to talk about some of the people in this room that have helped change my life, to teach me how I can sell better, how I can run my business better. And it's my honor to give back to them and share my life story. Every auctioneer there in the back room are wonderful men and women. And every single one of us have had a different walk of life. And every one of us have a different story we can tell that can inspire and change someone for the better. That is how I give back, by sharing my story, my journey, and I look forward to continuing that.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think there's one answer here. It is a great thing to have the name change, the National Auction Association. It was met with, a lot of debate maybe in the past, and it took us 75 years or more to change the name. And the name change is a good thing because it incorporates inclusivity of all of our auction staff. How many times have I encountered someone, or possibly you have encountered somebody that says, why would I be in the NAA? It's for auctioneers. And no, that's not accurate. We offer so much. We offer so much to our staff, and this is inclusive of that. With the name change, I think it's kind of fun for some of us out there that might have daughters. I've got a daughter, and I love her, and I know one day she's going to grow up, get married, and possibly her last name's going to change, but it's not going to change who she is. She'll always be my daughter. And the association is always going to have the same heart and soul that it's had for 75 years. And just because the name has changed a little bit, there's nothing going to change about the people, because it's the people that make the association what it is, and we are the National Auction Association. Thank you very much. My name's Jay Cash, finalist number 7. Thank you.
Well, Eve, so far, these folks have absolutely blown me away with their quality, and Jay Cash did not disappoint.
He absolutely did not. That question number 2, when he said mind, body, soul, really that is completely a fantastic description of auctioneers, their gratitude and their graciousness. And during this process, yes, that fourth requirement of the competition here, the interview portion, is being an ambassador. And when you hear someone say that, great candidate for IAC champion.
When he brought in the analogy of his little girl on that third question, game over. He crushed question number 3, as they all have been doing. But without further delay, let's go back to the stage.
Finalist number 8.
Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges. My name is Wayne Yoder. I come to you from Bridgeport, West Virginia, and I am finalist number 8. Thank you, judges, for bringing me back into the finals. Thank you to the National Auctioneers Association for what you do for our industry. Morgan.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
New technologies can be amazing. We've been using the AI for writing our ads. We've been using them on our websites. We're looking forward, as one of the complications or that we struggle with as an auctioneer is providing education to the public, that AI will provide accurate information at the public's fingertips, which will increase the auction. Thank you.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
I'm a first-generation auctioneer. National Auctioneers Association, CAI, has brought me in and has given me everything that I have. I'm extremely grateful for what the National Auctioneers Association has done for me, what this industry stands for, the livelihood that I can have. It's been 8 years since I built my business, and in those 8 years I always felt that I wasn't qualified to give back to others. As we get more wisdom under our belt, we strive to learn, and young auctioneers have been reaching out. I've been trying to be supportive. I'm trying to serve. I'm trying to serve the people in my office, serving to the people in the National Auctioneers Association that are coming along through and giving back to them what has been given to me. Thank you.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I personally like the change of the association. We have a lot of members and team members in our office that are not auctioneers, but yet they are a vital part of our auctions on a day-to-day basis. I believe that the name change will bring those people will make them feel more involved, and therefore it's very positive. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Wayne Yoder. I do come to you from Bridgeport, West Virginia, final contestant number 8, and I thank you.
Wayne Yoder, I tell you again, that enthusiasm and that dedication to the industry. Although I wish I could have heard a little bit more on question number 1, he sure came back on question number 2.
I couldn't agree more, Eve. His content was a little shaky on question 1. Seemed a bit nervous, seemed a bit, disoriented to begin with. I think he rallied at the end, and there's one thing you can know about Wayne. I promise you, whatever he might have liked to redo in the interview, he will make up for it on the bid caller because he can sell like nobody.
Just an exceptional, professional,
Such a
bid
great young
caller
man.
individual.
It's great, young man. You were saying you're talking to his wife, and he's just a great family man, just a wonderful, wonderful person. And to watch him evolve over the years and seeing him at CAI.
I totally agree. And with that, back to the next contestant.
Number 9.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, judges. My name is Shane McCarroll. I am finalist number 9. I appreciate your consideration and the opportunity to be back in the finals. Morgan, I believe you got a few questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
The words of the great John Maxwell says, change is inevitable, growth is optional. Here's the truth. The heritage runs deep in our industry, and it is extremely important that we continue to recognize that. As we recognize the heritage and how important the things are that have put us where we are today, it's equally as important, if not more important, to know that we must continue to grow. This industry continues to amaze me each and every day with the opportunities that it provides for me and my family. I have no backup plan. This is what I do. This is the only thing I do, and I wouldn't choose anything else. So what I urge each and every one of us to think about as we continue to evolve, because we need to, we must evolve. But we cannot forget the foundation that has been built. This industry is extremely strong for a reason. The leaders that established it so many years ago had a vision. We need to hold on to that vision. But we must continue to embrace the change and grow so that we can keep up with everybody else. It's that important. That's what I believe, and I hope you join me in that belief.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
It's always a tough one to talk about yourself. The first 12 years of my adult life, starting at 17 years old, I joined the Marine Corps. I did that because, to be quite honest with you, I didn't have any other decisions. If I didn't want to end up like everybody else that was surrounding me, I needed to make a decision, and I made a decision right then to serve this country. About 12 years ago, I lost the opportunity to continue serving. There were some deep and dark times during transition, to be quite honest with you, because I didn't have a backup plan then either. I'm going to tell you what I did is I found the selfless service in my heart that drove me to put that Eagle Globe and Anchor on my collar, and I converted that into helping clients. Over the last 10 to 12 years, I have continued to grow and educate myself and give back every single second that I can. And here's the coolest thing that happened, because the good Lord works in mysterious ways. About 2 years ago, I was offered the opportunity to buy an auction school, and I'm going to be completely transparent. It wasn't in my plans. Over the last 2 years, we've graduated about 60 or 70 students, and each one of those students, I have poured my heart and soul into them to ensure that when they walked out that door, that they had the ability to make money the following day. Also, serving in the Tennessee Auctioneers Association, running through the chairs, and now serving as a president, I spend a lot of time on Zoom calls like each and every one of you do to continue to give back and pour into this industry. I was honored to be a part of the promotions committee this year. Was honored to put together some slates of education that you all have been able to enjoy over the last few days. I think it's negligent not to be a part of the associations, and quite frankly, I think it's negligent not to give back to an industry that continues to provide so many opportunities for me and my family.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think without a doubt, as our industry changes, we have to change. The name change had to happen. I sat on a NOLA call just a few short weeks ago when the most consistent thing through all 25 states that require license, the only thing that's consistent in every single state is the amount of license are decreasing in every state, because the landscape of our industry with the online technology no longer needs so many live cry auctioneers in their firms. It's just the facts. It's what's happening. Regardless if we agree to it or not, this association must stay poised to grow. We have to be inclusive. We have to allow auction entrepreneurs who may not be auctioneers as the traditional sense, but they operate in the auction business, and they're absolutely 100% vital So to answer the question, Morgan, I think it's going to be more inclusive. It's going to allow us to expand our membership and influence people who, just a few short days ago, if we were just auctioneers only, those people wouldn't have been involved in this association. We have to grow. That's one way to grow, to ensure that we're more inclusive. So the name change, not only do I commend it, I think it's perfect timing because the industry needs auction entrepreneurs, and this association needs more members, and that's going to give us the opportunity to include many more qualified people in this association. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I am your finalist number 9 from Clarksville, Tennessee, Shane McCarroll. Thank you.
I have attended IAC Champs for 9 years, John, and I can tell you right now, those are the best 3 answers of any questions I have ever heard.
Shane McCarroll for president. I mean, he was preaching. I was waiting for him to take up an offering. The absolute perfect mix. Calm, cool, concise, collected. It was as perfect as we've heard all day.
As perfect as I've ever heard in 9 years. Let's go back now to our next contestant.
List number 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am finalist number 10, Michael Adcock from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Once again, judges and fellow auctioneers, it is a pleasure to be up on this stage in front of you today. I've been having a blast today. A very new experience for me. I've been soaking it all in. It's been a pleasure. And right now, I'm ready to answer 3 questions from you, Morgan.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
I think we really need to embrace what is happening with the technology because it is something that we have obviously seen is going to be coming in and it's not going to go away. So we need to embrace this. We need to integrate ourselves into the platforms. We need to be able to take our personalities and let them show through the online platforms. That's what I think is most important is being an auctioneer, you need to let your personality come through on that basis of taking in the internet and bringing them together. So for me, what I do, we sell many automobiles, and we have 350 guys online. A lot of times, you feel like you might lose touch with some of these buyers, but when you're able to get down and describe the item a little bit better, you're able to kind of dig deeper, and then you can maybe bring your personality out. It shows to that person on the other end that there's still somebody connected and in this process with you in the process. So that is something that I think is very important when combining auctioneering of what we have been doing and bringing the technology into the future.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
I've been very fortunate to have many mentors in my life, and I was growing up in a family that had past world champions. I've been around so many other people. I've got to compete, and I was lucky enough to be successful early in my career. And all of a sudden, I was kind of put into a position recently where I was able to be somebody who was able to give back in a really good capacity with the World Automobile Auctioneer Championship. I was on the board. And from that, I realized how important it is to bring in this younger generation. And I realized that I've had a legacy with my family, and I really enjoyed having that family legacy. It's been great. What I'm ready to do is take my legacy to the next game. I'm ready to start my own legacy, and I think that's going to start here with the National Auction Association. I'm ready to be the first one from my family to come here on this platform and take it to the next level. I think as a champion, I'd be able to bring in a lot of the guys from the automotive side and also from many other facets and bring them here, because what the NAA has to offer is incomparable to what they have seen. There are so many great platforms for education and a lot of advocacy that we have going on. There's so many things that they don't know about that they need to be in tune. And there's great people on that side that are going to bring something to this table as well. So I think if I was going to be a champion, I'd be bringing in a lot of people with me, and we'd be doing a lot of great things together, and the numbers be going up.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, Do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
Absolutely inclusive. We need to be able to step out and say, hey, we understand what is happening in our world. We are going to be the ones that are going to come and attack the issues and the problems that we're having, or we're going to take these and put it into a positive spin. So, of course, we have a name change from Auctioneer Association to Auction Association because there is so many different platforms, and we need to be the ones that are ahead of the game and taking advantage of these platforms. It is for us to go ahead and take a step forward and say, we're ready, you can come to us, we're gonna show you the way, and we can bring these people together, we can have these collective meetings together. We have so many different communities that we can use that to, no matter if you are in a contract auctioneer situation, if you are a real estate auctioneer, or if you're a benefit auctioneer, we have the groups to help you be successful. So let's bring everybody in and have them come join the party, because what we have going on here in the NAA is very, very special. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your contestant number 10. It has been a pleasure going on this journey with you today, and I hope to see you a little bit later on. Thank you.
John, you're a former World Automobile Auctioneer champion. So is Michael, but this is a totally different platform. What do you think of?
Different ball game.
Yes.
You of all people know, because you've been the on-site host for so many years at that contest. It's all bid calling, but to see what this young man did at his first crack at this thing, he has all the intangibles. He's handsome, he's confident, he's a snappy dresser. For his first time, I thought he represented himself extremely well.
I completely agree with you. He was fantastic. His poise again.
Poise.
Just wonderful. But also, ladies and gentlemen, we are now actually halfway through our 20 finalists. So let's now begin with the second half.
Finalist number 11.
Well, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen, judges. My name is Tice Freegee from Clayton, Indiana, and I am finalist contestant number 11. Judges, I do thank you for the opportunity to have me back here in the finals. Ms. Hobson, I believe you have some questions for me.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
Can you repeat the question, please?
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
That's a great question. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, being a part of the NAA certainly gives you the tutelage, and we see all the technology. For instance, the AI that's coming around and coming quick. The NAA provides tutelage for us to see those, and for us to act on that, we need to be able to be an engaged member, and we need to be able to act with integrity and ethics that the NAA has shown us, and that's all I have.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
I think one way that I've been able to give back, in 2019, I won the International Junior Auctioneer Championship, and I was the first IJAC winner that got to go to the St. Jude Hospital. I know that's not any longer a partnership, but that was a great opportunity to me and really opened my eyes to kids who didn't have, I'm going to get emotional, but kids who didn't have the opportunities that I might have had, or everyone here might have had. I think giving back to the industry is something that everyone needs to do, and I think that being a part of the NAA would help someone to be able to give back to the industry.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think the name change from National Auctioneers Association to National Auction Association will make it more inclusive. I think it includes more members, not just the auctioneer, but the staff. It takes a lot of team members for you to drag an auction across the finish line, and I think those people need to be included in the NAA, and I think by changing the name, they do that. Thank you. That's my 3 questions. Again, I am Tice Freegee from Clayton, Indiana, contestant finalist number 11. Thank you.
You know, Eve, Tice Freegee is a former IAC champion, comes from a very, very wonderful auction family. Did a pretty good job, but his youth probably showed a little bit.
Yes, he did. But I also remind everyone who's watching, if they ask to repeat that question, the judges are not deducting points because of that. But yes, I remember when he won the IAC, and we have that final coming up a little bit later. But proud of him.
Oh,
proud of him.
You know what the thing about Tice, and I've known him since he was a little kid, he will learn from this. He will absolutely learn from this. And the next time he's put in this position, I promise you, he'll draw on this experience. For his age, for his lack of life experience, if you will, I thought he did a great, great job. And again, you got to learn. You got to learn.
This is a process. Ladies and gentlemen, there are competitors that have won after 17 years. So this is heart and dedication. And now let's continue our competition.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends watching at home, and judges. Judges, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be back on this stage. My name is Carrie Hesney-Doran from Geneva, New York, and I am finalist number 12. Morgan, I'm ready for your questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of changes, right, happening within the auction industry. There's a lot of changes with technology, but I think that what is most important while adapting these changes is still having that personal touch, still having that communication between your live auctioneer and being a bid caller. Even if you do live or online only auctions as we do, I pride myself in being there and being able to still promote our fundraising auctions and being there to be a live bid caller and use a little bit of our technology for our auctions, as well as still being able to use the live bid call.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
You know, I strongly believe in something that's called if you can see her, you can be her. I have 2 little girls at home, and they're watching right now, and I know that it's important to showcase the auction profession and to showcase being a female bid caller and a female auctioneer, and I'm really proud of that. And I hope that I bring a strong presence to the stage, and I can be that presence to help promote the auction method of marketing and promote auctions for future generations.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
Inclusive. The name change, I really do agree with the name change. The National Auction Association. As a live auctioneer, I know that I depend on my auction staff. They are my support. They are the glue that holds us together. There's a lot more to being an auctioneer there's a lot more to an auction than being the person behind the microphone, than having that opportunity to help have more education for the auction teams and for the auction teams in total, and helps not just lift us up as auctioneers, but helps lift us up as our entire companies and run our auctions more smoothly. Thank you again My name is Carrie Hesney Doran, and I'm finalist number 12. I can't wait to be back on stage tonight. Thank you.
Carrie did a fabulous job. John, this is her first time in the finals experiencing the interview questions. And did her heart not come out on question number 2?
Eve, you know I'm a softie, and when she brought her children into that answer, being such an amazing mom as you are, and we were just talking about your maternal characteristics, the way she incorporated that in, it was a knockout.
I completely agree. And now let's return to this finalist portion of the competition.
Finalist number 13.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, judges. My name is Billy Payton. I'm from Middletown, Ohio, and I'm your finalist contestant, number 13. Judges, I want to say thank you for bringing me back into the finals. I feel very blessed to be here. Morgan, I'm ready to talk about the auction industry.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
I just try to adapt in every situation I got. I'm like a dry sponge trying to soak up every ounce of water I can. Willing to learn each and every day that I can about the auction industry. That's how I'm able to adapt. And also the mentors I get to work with that give me advice. Thank you.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
The things I've done to give back, or like to give back, is to help out the next generation coming into the auction business. Help pave the path like some has done for me. I would love to do that for the next generation. That would mean so much to me. The NAA has done so much for me ever since I was a little bitty boy. My sponsor, he told me, he said, become an NAA member, become an OAA member. It'll be the best decision you ever made. I went home, I looked into it, and it led me to the International Auctioneers Championship. It's been a dream of mine to come here and compete against all the great people there is. And I'm making these dreams come true. Cody Johnson said it best. Chase your dreams, because your dreams aren't going to chase you. Thank you.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think the name change for the association is going to bring membership to our association. Not everybody is auctioneers. Being the National Auction Association is going to bring more membership because it's going to bring more of a variety of people. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Billy Payton. I'm finalist number 13 from Middletown, Ohio. Thank you.
Eve, the Ohio auctioneers continue to bring it.
Yes, they do indeed. Billy certainly has. And just a fun little bit of info. Ohio has the most international champions ever. But regarding his interview, on question number 1, it could have been maybe a little bit of nerves, but it was maybe a little bit shy on the judges looking for the content of the question itself.
Agreed. I thought it was almost like a bell curve. 1 was a little weak. 2 was his absolute strong point. 3 was a little brief as well. Overall, I don't think it's going to hurt him because he's such a strong bid caller. But without further delay, back to the contest.
Finalist number 14.
Good afternoon. What a privilege it is for me to be back in this room with the honor of being a finalist. My name is Wade Leish. I'm finalist number 14 here this afternoon. Judges, thank you for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime to be back on this stage. About 20 years ago, one of my mentors in the auction industry made the top 15 at this very stage, and I've always wanted to emulate and be able to meet that, and his name was Doug Huker.
I know the Miedema family is sitting over here, and I know that everybody's thinking about him, and I just want you to know that it has been an honor, and I appreciate the judges for bringing me back. Morgan, I'm ready for some questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
I think that's something that our company's done a pretty good job with. We love live auctions. We love that traditional method of selling, getting in front of people, using our chant, using our skills and experience to go to work for that seller. But technology has opened up new parts to our toolbox to be able to offer new technology to oftentimes serve our client better. And we have to embrace that. And I think our company's done a good job of that. And I think that it comes from education, from conferences, whether state or national conferences, to learn how to use those tools to more effectively market for our customers. So I think that's the balance is finding which place to use that tool to be able to make the most money for our client, and that's ultimately our job. That's why they're hiring us.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
It's very interesting. I'm going to start with the qualities of an IAC champion. I love to compete in these contests because I like to measure myself, and I like to see, am I improving? Am I getting better? Am I going to do a better job for my clients? And I think that comes from a strong desire to be successful for them. So I think that's a quality that, as an IAC champion, that I'll bring to the table, is a strong desire to be the best representative for this industry that will stand on the stage here today. Morgan, can you give me the first portion of that question again, please?
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Thank you. What I've given back to the industry is the same as what I've received. I talk about my mentor, Doug Huker, one of my favorite auctioneers that I ever had the chance to listen and meet with, and that's what I've strived to do since then. I've tried to give back. Our industry is attractive to new auctioneers. They like what we do. We're lucky to be able to do it, and they aspire for that same title and the same position to stand on this stage. So I'm giving back the best I can, as my mentors have, to give new auctioneers the tools that I would like to see them have to succeed in this industry.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I believe that any time we make changes to be more inclusive, you're usually stepping in the right direction. And I believe that the NAA, with strong leadership that we have, has made a choice that they feel is in the best interest of the future of this organization. And having just learned of it, I haven't had a lot of time to process the change and the decision and the information that they used to make that. But what I will say is that any association, while needing to be inclusive, has to draw a line at some point. At some point, if we're not drawing some type of a line, obviously anybody can join our association, but if we're not drawing some type of a line, at some point we're opening up for a Trojan horse to come walking through and take over an industry where we need our voice to be the main one that's making the decisions. So while I do trust that the NAA leadership has made the right decision to be more inclusive, I do caution that at some point there will need to be a line drawn. It could be a slippery slope down the road, but I do trust the leadership, and I trust it going forward as well. And doing any type of harm for the industry that we love and we make our living at. Morgan, thank you for your questions. Judges, once again, thank you for your time. My name is Wade Elias, finalist number 14 here today. I look forward to the auction portion of the contest later. Please enjoy the rest of our interviews. Thank you.
Speaking from experience and being in that sequester room and the anticipation of those questions, we may have just seen that on question number 2.
He probably lost his train of thought a little bit, and I think you're spot on, Eve. But I tell you what, you got to take your hat off to him. He spoke from his heart on question number 3. Come hell or high water, he told you what he thought. I kind of like it that he went totally the antithesis of what everybody else has done.
I do as well. That's honesty and staying true to your beliefs and questioning.
Absolutely.
His delivery, and it was great. Okay, and we're going to go right back now.
Finalist number 15.
Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen, auction family and friends. My name is Haley Bear. I live in Parker, Colorado, and I am honored to be your finalist, number 15. It's a pleasure to be back here in the finals for the interview. I'm grateful for the opportunity, judges. Morgan, I understand you have a few questions for me, and I'm ready.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
It's an excellent question. Well, I think it's safe to say we like both, and the live traditional chant is what makes us who we are. I'm so proud to be able to be a fundraising auctioneer and an auto auctioneer and to showcase my craft. As President Ronald Reagan once was, the great communicator, that's what I believe we are as auctioneers. We are the great communicators. And I make my living 100% in the auction industry, selling both fundraising auctions, as I mentioned, and auto auctions. And I'm proud to display that craft and to be able to communicate effectively and efficiently with both buyers and sellers. Now, on the other side of using technology, I think we can look at one of our biggest challenges in our rearview mirror, which was COVID-19. And we had to use technology in the fundraising space, in the automotive space, in most facets of this industry. When COVID hit, I'm grateful that the NAA put a task force in place for benefit auctioneers because I was able to pivot, adapt, and transform my business so that I could be successful and help my clients, help my fundraising clients, the nonprofits be successful and still raise the valuable funds that they needed to help those that they serve.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Repeat the question one more time.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Great question. So, what I believe is to be a leader, you must first serve. There's a quote I live by, and it's on my website. It's a Barbara Bush quote. And the quote reads, "To serve and to serve well is the highest fulfillment one can know." We do about 100 fundraising auctions a year. I'm so grateful for the opportunities, and I feel so blessed. But how we set ourselves apart in the marketplace as fundraising auctioneers is volunteering, serving, touring every single organization, nonprofit, and school that we serve. Because I always say, if I don't know your cause, if I'm not passionate about your cause, how can your audience be? So it's extremely important to me to be of service. And number one, I think that is the best quality of a leader. Number two, other qualities that I bring to the table, integrity is the first quality I learned about in attending auction school about 13 years ago. Oh my gosh, dating myself. Integrity, service, and last but certainly not least, my great passion for this industry. There's a variety of qualities that make up each auctioneer, but for me, those are the top 3 that stand out.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
That is a loaded question, a great question. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Auction Association, it's alive and well. It's definitely going to create inclusion for our industry on a variety of fronts. There was a post on Facebook that the NAA put out about a month ago, and it said 70% of our auction industry's $3 billion in sales came from the web, came from online. So what's so great about this name change, it's allowing inclusivity, whether you're a live auctioneer and you conduct with the live auction chant, whether you conduct auctions online, like 70% that were conducted on the web with our $3 billion in sales, and get this, I love this, our staff. Our auction team, our staffs, our clerks, our ringmen, it includes everybody. We're all auctioneers, we're all doing the best job we can, and we all love this great profession and what we do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for me in the interview round. Again, thank you so very much. Judges, thank you for your time here today again. I love it, love what I do. I'm grateful to be here again. Auctioneer Haley Bear from Parker, Colorado, your finalist, number 15. God bless.
Eve, what a joy it has been for me to watch that lady right there from a child become the force that we just saw. Wow.
Tremendous respect for her, and as an auctioneer, her specialties between automobile and being a benefit auctioneer, honing her speaking skills, exceptional delivery, exceptional content. I believe Haley in the female right now, she's the one to beat. Such eloquence.
She has absolutely set the bar, and I just can't, I couldn't agree with you more. Back to the stage. We're speechless. She just knocked it out of the park.
Finalist number 16.
Well, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen, judges, fellow auction professionals. My name is Scott Mahalik, proudly calling home Chardon, Ohio, and I am finalist number 16. Morgan, you have some questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
You know, protecting where we've come from and where we're going is kind of a rough road for me. You look at, we really need that technology to move forward with it, but I really feel there's a part of us that really needs to kind of keep back to our home traditions of what we are. I believe in the live bid call. I also believe in the webcast, and when you're webcasting certain assets here, I think that's very important, and I think there is a time to put those together. I think we really need to look at it as auction professionals here, to how we actually will integrate like the new AI that's coming in here, and we've done that, and we can learn that through the different tools that the National Auction Association gives us through their new staff training here. They're giving us those tools to actually make our business better while incorporating the new technology that's moving forward.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
I think what we've given to the industry and what I've done in the past 30 years is, and I was a late bloomer, as we talked about it later, about getting here and getting involved with the NAA. I joined here in 2010, and what I ended up doing was immersing myself into the industry. And doing so, I've got involved in leadership roles within the organization here. And in doing so, I think we've kind of gone there and made ourselves better as auction professionals. I think what I've brought to the table here is, when we want to sit here, I want to make sure we all remain relevant. No matter if you're working for an auction company as a check-in person, or if you're working as an auctioneer or a setup person or actually checkout, I think what I've brought to this association and also to our own business is leadership, and leadership for our staff to follow, and a good role model that we can kind of teach our younger generations what we need to do to make the auction business and the auction profession relevant.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think the name change that we went from the National Auctioneers Association to the National Auction Association was very, very important to do. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad that the board of directors finally incorporated that. And the reason why is because it's just not the auctioneer anymore. It's really, when people look at us, they said, man, you did a good job at that last sale. It wasn't me. Even though we might be the auctioneer that they see, it's really taking everybody back in our business to do it. Again, it takes our setup people, the people in the office with marketing and advertising. It's also taking our setup crew, our checkout crew. So I think it's really important that we made that name change, that we make everything inclusive, that we kind of involve everybody, because it truly is a team effort here. And with that, changing that name, it's been a positive impact, and I think going forward, it's even going to be better. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Scott Mahalik, finalist number 16 from Chardon, Ohio. Thank you. God bless.
John, I think he did a fantastic job. In fact, I want to keep listening to more of these answers. I'm learning. I appreciate their opinions and just their expertise and everything that they're sharing with us. Not to mention, there's 400 people sitting behind us and coming and going. I mean, these questions they have not heard. They have 2 minutes to answer each one impromptu. I really enjoyed listening to Scott.
It's no joke, and I've known Scott a long time. He has really worked on this facet of this contest extremely hard. It's not always been his strongest suit. He's known that. He's owned it. He's worked on it. It showed today. It really showed today.
And to all of our 71 competitors today, they prepare all year to be here. And we're ready now for our next finalist.
Finalist number 17.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable judges, it is an absolute honor to be on this stage again. My name is Frances Fripp from Acton, Ontario. I am contestant number 17. Morgan, let's get started.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
Absolutely. So the auction world is changing. In March 2020, as we all know, as every single person in the world knows, the world stopped. And all auctioneers had to adapt, we had to persevere, we had to overcome. And if you look at the industry right now, we are thriving. And as shown in the auctioneer's name change of being the Auction Association and the Auctioneers Association, the auction world is changing, and we have gone to do online. We have kept the live bid calling, I think most importantly in benefit auctions. It's very hard to replicate that excitement of a live benefit auctioneer connecting emotionally with the crowd. And the NEA changing the name again accepts and it includes those online auctioneers as well in order to adapt to the way that the world is with technology. Our keynote speaker was with AI, and I think that's incredibly interesting, and we're going to be seeing more and more of that, of how we can utilize AI in order to eliminate repetitive tasks, minimize costs. You could rewrite item descriptions using AI. I so enjoyed our keynote this year, and I really think that keeping that live bid calling even right here in the competition in benefit auctions, it coincides so well with the online auctioneers, but also includes them in our industry and in the profession with the actual name change for the NAA.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Could you repeat the question, Morgan?
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
So the qualities that I would bring to the table, and as the champion, I think the number one thing I would love to do is to inspire. And inspire women who want to be a part of the industry, women who maybe aren't able to jump in with 2 feet. For myself, it took me years after graduating auction school in order to jump into the auction industry. I had graduated, I had a little bit of pushback, and that pushback, it took me out for years. And I had a really hard time jumping in. I worked behind the scenes, I worked in sales, I worked as close as I could to the microphone, but just not getting behind it. And it wasn't until I went to an association meeting and actually met Hannes, she was the first person I met, and I was overwhelmed with the inclusiveness, with how much people welcomed me, with the connections that I made, that I went home, I quit my job, and I said, I'm not going to work for a company unless I'm an auctioneer. And I think that perseverance is so important, and probably my quality that allowed me to become and live my dream in the auction business. And I remember the very first time that I ever sold was in competition, and a fellow auctioneer who was a part of the association paid my way in order to get me into the competition, because at the time I wasn't in a position to afford that. And he said, if you don't compete, then you're going to be wasting my $100 entry fee. So after that moment, I said I had done it, I had auctioned, I had actually completed auctioning in front of people, and I would say that would be my quality, perseverance.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
So as I touched, I think inclusivity is so important to the NEA. That's the energy, that's the mentality that we always give. That's what I have always felt from my first NEA conference and show right up until just a few minutes ago standing in backstage. I think that the online auctioneers, that's where a lot of the industry is going. And the inclusivity of that is a big part of the beauty of the auction industry, is that you could be introverted, you could be extroverted, any kind of person. There is a spot in this industry for you. If you are an extroverted person who wants to be outgoing and performing, and you took acting in school, benefit auctions, that's your key. If you are an A-type personality, you're detail-oriented, then you might want to be in personal property appraisals and online auctions and real estate. If you want to travel, there's contract auctioneering. The inclusivity of the NEA has education for each and every one of these aspects, and it's one of my favorite things about the industry. I'm so lucky to be able to work in quite a few different spots of the industry, in cars and in benefits. And I also sell land at home. So I think that it is, again, the NEA with the education pillars that they have, the inclusivity and the name change, bringing on online auctioneers, letting them know that they can be a part of us. We have new technology we want to share with them. We want to learn from them and their business styles. I think that it's definitely more inclusive. Thank you, Morgan. My name is Frances Fripp, contestant number 17 from Acton, Ontario. Thank you very much, judges, for your time and consideration today. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and enjoy the rest of the competition.
Eve Francis, our only Canadian finalist, she just glowed up there.
You say glow, like you said earlier, her eyes were dancing.
Oh my.
Not only is she an exceptional automobile auctioneer, benefit auctioneer, her commitment and loyalty to the auction industry completely showed through. I thought she did an amazing job right there.
She is, and she's such a good competitor. She's got a great attitude, and I tell you, Eve, like you said, you saw it in her eyes.
Saw it in her eyes.
All.
Indeed.
She meant it all.
And
Back
now
to-
we're ready for the last three of our finalists.
That's right.
Number 18.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to be back here in the finals. I'm Jeremy Miller from Fairland, Oklahoma, and I'm your finalist contestant number 18. Morgan?
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
Well, we as an industry are facing technological advances at an incredible rate, and so it has brought a lot of challenges to us. One thing that we have an absolute responsibility to, we have an absolute responsibility to do everything we can to maximize the value of the asset that we're marketing for our clients and our customers. And so if that involves adding online bidding, if that involves using AI, if that involves doing whatever we can to do a simulcast to add value, to open the bidding pool to a larger area, to maximize the value of the asset for our client, then we need to tap into that and use that technology to our advantage and to our client's advantage. And there's no better place, I would add, to get the education that we need and find what we need than right here at the National Auction Association, and get with networking, and we can find the answers to the solutions to the issues we face in the auction industry to add to the bottom line of our customers.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
Well, I don't know if I do know the answer to that. I have not given back to the auction industry as much as I've received, but my passion and my desire, if I were named champion, would be to give back. As you know, I've tried to help young auctioneers as they're starting up. If they come to me with questions, I try to answer them to the best of my ability. And the reason I can do that is I've had mentors, be it my brother, be it my father. There are many mentors that I've had that taught me what they knew to improve my ability as a bid caller, improve communication while I'm selling. There's just many things that I've learned. You know, if I'd have had to learn all of it the hard way, it would have been a difficult task, because there's a quote by Mark Twain, and he said, experience is what you have just after you needed it. You know, and I've faced that many times, but we can avoid some of those pitfalls by accepting advice from those of our mentors, and that is something I would absolutely want to do. If my platform in the industry is raised, I want to use whatever talent I've been blessed with to give back to an industry that I care very deeply about.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I think it will absolutely make it more inclusive, because everyone on auction day is important, and that could be the tech people, that can be the people who set up prior to the auction, that is the ring persons the day of the auction. We are absolutely all in this together, and my success or lack of success as a bid caller, it's all tied together with the entire team. And so we want to include everyone, and there are educational opportunities here at the convention and throughout the year from the National Auction Association that will absolutely elevate every level of our auction staff, every level from prior to the auction to auction day. And so if we all work together, and I think the name change is the start of that, that's a great thing. We're all in this together. That should be our message, where a rising tide lifts all boats. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jeremy Miller. I'm your finalist contestant number 18. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
I really liked how Jeremy answered the second question, what are you giving back to the auction industry? He mentioned mentorship, and I wish I had heard that more throughout the day.
I think you're right, Eve. He started out a little disconnected, thoughts a little disconnected. He got stronger as the questions, I think.
I agree.
Point,
I agree.
When he hit question number 2 about that mentorship, it was like it was his sweet spot. He got more confidence, and he finished strong. But I agree with you. We haven't heard that today. We haven't heard that today at all, and it was refreshing. 100%.
And it's really what any industry sustains itself is by that mentorship, that true mentorship of giving back in the way of educating, excitement, and getting someone thrilled about what they do.
Absolutely.
And now for our final 2.
Number 19.
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, judges. I'm finalist number 19, Matt Hostetter from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. I'm very blessed and honored to be right back on the stage. Again, judges, thank you so much for putting me in the finals. I'm looking forward to tonight. Morgan?
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
So the live bid call is very essential in our industry. As you guys can see here today and yesterday, this whole week, our IJAC kids have done a fantastic job. I think we had 9 or 10 of them. And the live bid call is very important. So we need to embrace that, but we also need to embrace technology through online platforms, through AI, through different channels that you can combine them both to make the best product for our sellers.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
So giving back is a big thing here at the NAA. We obviously have the NAF, but me, myself personally, I've given back mainly locally at our state level. I've been blessed to be the Pennsylvania Auctioneers Association president. I've given back through doing that kind of work. I've also helped mentor young kids. And I also am very, very blessed to travel the world and meet with other auctioneers outside of the country. And I do talk to them about the NAA and the benefits of being a member, the benefits of coming here and being a part of this great association.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
Thank you, Morgan. I think it's a great thing. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I can tell you just from my personal perspective that our company has several auctioneers that don't do the auction chant. So they're auction professionals. And this new name change helps them feel included. It opens up the door to many people that aren't on this stage, that aren't behind a mic, that can get involved, they can bring their talents and gifts and share them here with all of us to help all of us grow our companies. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Judges, again, thank you so much. Again, I'm finalist number 19, Matt Hoster. Looking forward to tonight. Thank you.
No doubt, Matthew would be an incredible IAC champion and an ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, there's about 700 people in the room now, and the fact that he answered those questions brilliantly with all this activity behind us, that's not easy.
I can never separate Matt's answers from the fact that he is a great father, husband, auctioneer, person, comes from a great auction family. He eats, sleeps, drinks the NAA and the auction profession. It showed in his answers, Eve. He just did a bang-up job. Bang-up job.
I completely agree. And this has been such a fascinating afternoon. We are now coming into our final contestant, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, judges, auction industry, watching online. My name is David Whitaker, and I'm finalist contestant number 20. Judges, real quick, thank you so much for bringing me back to the finals. Every time you do, today and in the past, it's helped me grow as an auctioneer, as a professional, and it helps me lead the future generation down the road and grow them as well. Morgan, we have some questions.
As an auctioneer, how do you balance adopting new technologies while preserving the traditions and integrity of the live bid call?
So, ladies and gentlemen, our industry is changing. Morgan's asking about adopting technology, okay, and keeping what we're here to celebrate, the live auction method of marketing. Change. Anytime we face something, we don't necessarily always face change. But when we face change, we have to face it head on. We have to face it head on. So when I think of adapting any new technology and keeping the old and the new together and merging them into a great thing, I think of like a butterfly. I'm going to give you an image here. That butterfly, okay, cocoon starts, comes into a beautiful thing. And I think of the butterflies I have when I walk on stage, right? And the job that I have is to harness them and make them fly in unison.
We as an industry, Morgan and listeners out there, need to do exactly that. We need to take any change that we have, harness those changes, and make any new technologies, Morgan, work and celebrate with a live auction method of marketing. We need to make it a beautiful thing, and we can do it.
In your career, how have you given back to the auction industry, and what qualities do you bring to the table as a potential IAC champion?
I feel that as any champion before me has done, I try to emulate after them. And they emulate after the values of the industry. They want to promote, educate, the cornerstone pillars, okay? So they do what they say, and they say what they do. They practice what they preach. I do the same, Morgan. So the qualities that I bring to the table as the future champion is this, auction school. I love to teach new kids. I get the opportunity to work with Nick Bennett. It's fantastic. Even at Education Week this week, I want to take what I learned, how you guys have made me better as an industry, and keep pushing this train down the track forward. I just happen to be the conductor of my train at my industry, but I tell you what, it takes a whole team to keep that train going in the right direction. So we listen, and then we regurgitate it to the next and future generation, and I think I've done that well, and I want to continue to do that, Morgan, as your IAC champion.
Reflecting on our association's recent name change, do you think this will make our association more inclusive or exclusive?
I wholeheartedly, right away, it's going to be more inclusive. Here's the deal. Look at the vision statement on the website. It says to be intentionally inclusive to all auction professionals. That's what it says. We're going to be intentionally inclusive, and I think when you look at the auction industry, let's take a picture. Look at that picture. There's lots of pieces that we have to look at to make that whole picture. So let's take the four corners of that puzzle. And when we're looking at a puzzle, those four corners might be the live bid call, okay? Then we get the outside. We put the rest of the puzzle together, and when we are, maybe that's online auctions. And then in the middle, we have a whole lot of product knowledge and industry professionals that maybe are not the bid callers that make up the entire puzzle. We got to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and that's exactly what that name change is doing, Morgan. It's putting all the pieces together. I don't care if you're a clerk, a cashier. I don't care if you're the person that just catalogs the auction. When we look at auctions as a picture, you got to put all the pieces together, all of them. So I think it's going to be great for our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, my name is David Whitaker, finalist contestant number 20. We're going to have a blast in the finals. Thank you, and God bless.
Well, let's give one last round of applause for our finalists this evening.